All right, hello, what's up, everybody? This is page 31. 31, you're thinking. Didn't you just start 30 yesterday? I did. And I finished it. This is the first time I've done this in a long time. I started and finished page 30. It's only 3 panels, so it went pretty quickly. And it went with, it's a 3-panel combat sequence. Brillig is, he kills the Jub because he has the magic Vorpal Blade. Now, for those of you who are wondering, why did you just do this in one panel? Like a climactic battle should take more panels. I was really thinking in terms of like One Punch Man. The cool thing about One Punch Man is he fights in one panel. Anyways, I just posted another thing that I was working on, and it's a technique that I want to do a demo on later, and I will. But just for fun, I was playing around with some script ideas. Let me show you what I was doing for reals. I was in my sketchbook. It was a Sunday night. Today's Monday. And I actually started filming it, but I did such a bad job that I turned the camera off after a while. And I decided to do the Phantom of the Opera, right? So there's my Phantom of the Opera portrait. And then I also did the Mask of the Red Death Phantom of the Opera, which is what he's wearing in a sequence, I think, in the earlier part of the movie. And I got the idea that maybe it would be cool to do a Phantom of the Opera story, but futuristic. So what would an opera be in the future? I mean, you could have the Fifth Element. There's an actual space diva that was an opera singer. And I thought, well, that's a possibility. Maybe there's like space performers. And then I had the idea that, okay, I want it to be like what do you need an opera house? Like, how does it all work? Because part of the Phantom of the Opera story is that he's haunting the theater. And then I came upon the idea that if we're going to do this as a futuristic story, what we're really talking about are pop idols, right? So I started brainstorming, and I used this technique, which I'm going to show in a future video for the brainstorming stage, and then for doing some organization with it. But I came up with the idea that in the dystopian future, there would be, here's my dystopian future city, Eden Prime. They would have pop idol shows, and everybody would be competing um, to have the top pop idol, because that would get all the corporate sponsorships and be the one that delivers all of the government misinformation. So and also it's the standards are so rigorous that you have to be an android to compete. So instead of like a plucky young performer trying to become a pop idol, I was thinking there would be like teams of experts, and they would be submitting their android to the competition. It's very inspired by Tezuka. I just read MW and the second volume of the Phoenix Saga, which is Phoenix Future, um, kind of played into this, the idea of that sort of corrupt city. So I had this idea that Starbite Studios is where stars are forged, not literal stars, of course, but pop idols. And we have a young catering girl, but she's a human girl. Um, and also, and here she is, she's trying to deliver some food. So I did all this last night. I did 2 comic pages. But it's one of those things, like the idea. I'm going to do this as an ash can. It's called Una and the Phantasm. Instead of the Phantom of the Opera, it's the Phantasm. I didn't go very far. And Shell told me, don't use the word Una. Don't use the name Una. It's used in other anime. So I get it off a name generator. She gave me like 5 other names to choose from. I'm just going to run the name generator again. Well, anyways, why am I stick with Una? I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. But the idea here is that one of the corporations that enters this pop idol thing is called Deva, Deva. Let's see if it'll open up. Oh, can you see it? Diva, right? And one's Magnafresh and one of them's Dark Horse. So Diva is, of course, all the corporations in this are going to be like it's a corrupt cyber world or whatever. They had a disgruntled robotics genius, and he creates his own android that's becoming Dark Horse, and he's kind of entered under false credentials, and that's going to become the Phantasm android. And the Phantasm android's going to enter and try and win, so he can subvert the dystopian government by winning the Pop Idol Championship. But at the same time, this girl, Yuna, um, she is going to be discovered. She has a secret talent. She's an incredible singer, so she's going to enter the competition disguised as an android. And she wants to win because she wants to be a star, of course. So that's my idea for the story. Um, and, like I said, inspired by Phantom of the Opera. I don't think it's going to be exactly like Phantom of the Opera. I do want to have a scene where the face of the android comes off, and it's just like that Lon Chaney Jr. scene. But I don't know where it's going to go yet. I did set it up to be only 8 pages long. This is these are Ashcan pages, so just to show you what they look like. That's page 1. This will be page 8. So when you print it on this side, and then you print it on the back side with pages 2 and 7, you can fold it over. Here's my page dummy. So 1, 2. You take this down to the copy shop, and you can build a little 8-page booklet out of it. So, anyways, that's that. But I'd finished page 30. That's what allowed me to get into doing a whole thing for fun. I finished page 30, and I got into page 31, and Sideburns asked me, "Hey, do you just come up with the dialogue on the page?" And the answer is pretty much yes. But what he meant was, do you draw it first and then just sort of make stuff up? And like I said, pretty much yes. But I do apply a formula to it. So the formula is, let's go back a little bit. I know the beat of the page, so I know what's happening on the page. In this page, that's where the battle happens. And I draw what I think the battle is like. I'm trying to put myself in the mindset of an artist telling a story. And so I draw the whole sequence. And then, once it's done, then I get the pencil's done, rather. I go in and I start to improvise the dialogue. And so that's the Stan Lee step. Like the first step is the Jack Kirby step. The second step is definitely the Stan Lee step, where I basically come up with the dialogue after the pencils are done. And I have a really strong sense of all my characters and their motivations and their personalities and their conflicts and all that stuff. So I can internalize all that stuff. This is one of the benefits of kind of working on your own, where you don't have to work with another writer or another artist or something like that. I don't mind working with a colorist, although I don't really care for color usually. I do like working with Jacob Moore, though. He's a cool guy. All right, so anyways, that's how it's done. Because this is a page 31 video, and I've already wasted 9 minutes of your time, and I'm glad you're here, I'm going to at least go ahead and do the panel borders, right? Why wouldn't you do that? I'm looking at it, and I'm wondering do I make any of these panel borders? Should I go borderless? I could go borderless on this last panel, maybe. Always an option. But I think I won't. Well, let me take a look. What if I did go borderless? It's the ending panel. So all right, let's entertain the option for right now. We're going to go borderless on the last panel, just for fun, just for funsies. Doing things for funsies is always a good option. Okay. I'm just in a manga state of mind lately. I've been reading, by the way, Kanuki Man. You remember the muscle figures, those little pink plastic muscle figures? They're called Keshi figures sometimes. They're based on a manga called Kanuki Man, and it goes way back. I think it goes back to like 1979. Um, of course, it's really hard to find. In fact, I don't think you can find a legal copy. I found one of those like fly by night, like read any manga online for free sites, and I found Kanuki Man, and I was able to scroll back. It's like 800 chapters, but I was able to scroll back to like chapter one, and there's something kind of awesome. First of all, it's not that well drawn, but that's refreshing. It's drawn very humorously, which I did enjoy. I had at least one laugh out loud moment, and it must have been chapter two or three, um, where these aliens come down and they explain that Kanuki Man is really he's been living on Earth, but he's really an alien. And he goes, well, how could that be? And he goes, well, your parents were aliens, and they were here on a vacation, and somehow they picked up a pig, and once they realized the pig was on board, they decided to throw the pig out of the spaceship, but it actually they couldn't tell the difference, so they threw you out. And it shows him getting tossed out of the spaceship. It was really funny, and it caught me by surprise, and I laughed out loud when I was reading it. Um, Also, in the first chapter, the plot line is that some aliens are about to attack Earth, and so they have to contact, you know, whoever can save them, whoever the superheroes are. So first they try and contact Ultraman. Is this right? Yeah, it is. And Ultraman is not available. Then they decide to contact what they call PP Man, but it's like basically Superman, but instead of an S, he has PP. PP Man. Which I laughed hell out at that. And then they decide to contact any other superhero, and they show like a picture, and it's Spider Man. So they tried to contact Spider Man, um, and then it was any other superhero, and so there was like a Batman, there was a stretchy guy with a number one on his chest, so I guess that was Fantastic One, and then there was another. What else did they have? They had a Spider Man, a Batman. There was a girl character, but I couldn't figure out like who are they going. What is that supposed to be? And they had a Captain America character. So even in 1979, it just shows that manga readers and artists were well aware of the Western superheroes, and even found them kind of humorous, at least in a ridiculous way. So I really enjoyed that, and I'm going to be on the lookout for a legit version of Kanuki Man if it goes back that far. Kanuki Man. I just realized I've been doing this whole thing. I've been doing this whole thing with a technical pen, and I want to do it with the other brush, so I'm gonna do it over. Anyway, that's how things have been going. I'm teaching this week, so it's a very busy week for me. I didn't get home till I don't know 3:30 or so, and um, I had to draw a whole page, which I did. I do this whole page when I got home. Luckily, I don't do a lot of detail on the page until I start doing the ink, and then I had to chop up vegetables for dinner. That's my usual thing. Anyway, I think I think we've had enough. Have we had enough story time for today? We're rapidly approaching the end of Brillig. This is in fact the last page. This is page 31. Just to go over it in this panel, the Jub is destroyed, killed. And Brillig is upset because also his friend pretty much got wiped out on the previous page. Might take me a couple of days to do this. I think I was saying that, oh, it'll take me a couple of days on the other page. But it didn't take me that long. Now, part of it was because it was Sunday, and I had plenty of time to do my drawings. But it just kind of goes to show you, as long as you have your priorities in the right place, you can get a lot done. You can get a lot done. All right. I am going to show on a future video part of my story organize my new method. I've actually never used this method, although I did use it a little bit with the Phantasm story because I was playing around with it. But I will do a new video with a bit of that method. It is not a time-saving or a work-saving method. Well, it is in a way. It's an organizational tool. Is the way I'm using it. That's how I'm just going to describe it. But really, all the work has to come from you. All the real work. It just does um, some of the labor-like typing, which which I don't like. Handwriting. It'll wear you out. It'll wear you out. All right, I'm feeling pretty good. It's nice to be at the end of a story. I'm a little bit worried that, when you reach the end of something like this, um, the two conflicting instincts, you must ignore both of them. One instinct is to rush right through it so you finally get done with it. I think I did that when I was working on Isolt back in 2019 or 2020, 2019 or so. Um, Definitely the case when I did my first Rabbit Fighter Ash Cans in 2019. I was trying my best. I just wanted to get the win, get to the end, and then you feel like you won, because you beat it, you got to the end. So you must resist that. And then the other one is the opposite urge. It's going away, it's ending, so you want to slow down. That's another urge that I sometimes have. Um, it's not that you love it so much, but it's just like, I don't know. There's an urge to get a little bit lazy, and you must resist that as well. I think that's for the best. Okay. Anyways, please like, follow, and subscribe. I'm not going to get much further than these legs here. I'll draw a couple of feathers on the floor. Ooh, I think is. I need to have something in the foreground on this first panel. I could do like a root system or something. May have to go sneak a peek at some Conan comics and see what their ideas are. Not that there's as much as I love John Buscema, he was a shortcut man. If he if he if he felt there was a shortcut he needed, he would just take it. But you want to look at it is the Barry Windsor Smith episodes. Those Conans, because he took no shortcuts. As a result, he was very slow. But I don't know. Not much else is going on. Maybe some grass, plants, something like that. I was on YouTube today and I was looking at. I'm just thinking about planters and things like that. Like what you would plant. All the rising food prices. Maybe some kind of garden or something might be a cool idea. All right, we got something going on. Ooh, that looks like a little messy. Some of this looks okay, and then some of this looks a little troubled, but we're gonna get through it. I need to do more ink studies of trees. A lot of nature. A lot of nature takes place in comic books. So if you have a comic book that's set outside, study nature. I like that idea. Could even put a snail. There's a snail on the root. Like my snail. All right. I am going to continue wrenching on this page for a while. It's going to might take a couple of days because that urge to slow down might get to me. You never know. I want us to focus. I think I might put these guys in silhouette. Like I'm going to leave the bird. I'm going to fully detail out, and these guys will sort of fade into the background. But because they'll be shadows, our eye will hopefully be drawn directly to this interaction. And speaking of dialogue, I haven't come up with a dialogue yet. I've got to think about it. I know about what's going to happen. He's going to be talking to him. Deuce, the card guard, is going to be barely alive. And then he's going to be like, "We can get you healed, we can help you." And he's like, "No, don't bother. I'm just a card guard." And then while he's talking to him, the card guard's going to disintegrate right mid sentence or something. I don't know. And then at the end, we just have him walking away. I think this going borderless on this was a good instinct. I'm glad that I thought of that, right? I'm glad you helped me think of that. Thank you, audience member. I am my own audience member. All right. And then I got our dead Jub bird. Jubs. All right, it makes perfect sense to me. It's like a peaceful glade and this sort of tragic scene that plays out. I think I was influenced because I watched All Quiet on the Western Front this weekend. That's definitely been on my mind since then. What an incredible movie. I was like thinking, oh, they don't make good movies anymore. It's over. It's over. The powers that be that run the entertainment industry, they hate themselves and they hate the people who watch movies so much that there's just not going to be any more good movies. They're done making them. It's over. And good luck finding the old ones because they want to take the old things and change those too. They're going to change Roald Dahl. But to my surprise, came out great. I think we need to put light from the two ways of thinking about light. Light from this area. Shadow on the far side of the tree. I want it to catch fire. Little word. We'll lower it down a level. All right, I gotta go. Please like, follow, and subscribe, and I will see you later. There will be more Brillig and maybe less Brillig in the future.